On June 30th, 2018, a 3-year-old boy named Matthew Maison was found dead in his Michigan home. His tiny body was covered in bruises, his skull fractured, his life erased. But here's what makes this case unbearable. Matthew didn't die because of rage. He didn't die in a moment of madness. He died because his mother needed to make room for another baby. And what she did to him in his final days will haunt you forever. Matthew Maison was just 3 years old. A little boy who should have been playing with toys and learning his ABCs. He lived in Mount Clemens, Michigan, with his mother, Amanda Maison, and her boyfriend, Sean Michael Rao. To the outside world, they looked like a normal family. But behind closed doors, something dark was festering. Amanda was pregnant. She was expecting a new baby with Sean. And according to prosecutors, that pregnancy changed everything. Because suddenly, Matthew was in the way. In the weeks leading up to his death, Matthew's world became a living nightmare. Amanda and Sean began punishing him, not for misbehaving, but for existing. They would lock him in a dark closet for hours. They'd withhold food. They'd scream at him until he trembled. Neighbors later said they heard crying, loud crashes, but no one called the police. And then the abuse escalated. Matthew was forced to do wall squats until his legs gave out. If he fell, they'd beat him. They'd make him stand in stress positions until he collapsed from exhaustion. This wasn't discipline. This was torture. And it was only the beginning. On June 29, 2018, Amanda and Sean decided Matthew had had enough chances. They forced the 3-year-old to do wall squats again, over and over. His little legs were shaking. His breath was shallow. And when he couldn't hold it anymore, he collapsed. Sean Rao allegedly picked him up and slammed his head into the floor. Matthew's skull fractured. Blood pooled beneath the surface. His brain began to swell. But instead of calling 911, they put him to bed. The next morning, June 30th, Amanda finally called for help. But it was too late. Matthew Maison was pronounced dead. Cause of death: blunt force trauma to the head. Multiple bruises. Signs of prolonged abuse. And prosecutors would later reveal the most chilling detail of all. Amanda told investigators she killed her son to make room for the baby she was carrying. Police immediately suspected foul play. Matthew's injuries were too severe, too deliberate. Amanda Maison and Sean Rao were arrested and charged with first-degree murder and child abuse. But as the case unfolded, the truth became even darker. Prosecutors uncovered texts between Amanda and Sean discussing how Matthew was a problem, how he was getting in the way of their future. Investigators found evidence of the closet where Matthew had been locked, the walls he'd been forced to squat against, the room where he took his last breath. And the medical examiner confirmed what everyone feared. Matthew had been abused for weeks. This wasn't a one-time incident. This was systematic, calculated, cruel. And the motive? Amanda wanted to focus on her new baby. Matthew was just in the way. For years, the case sat in legal limbo. Amanda Maison pleaded not guilty. She claimed Sean was the one who hurt Matthew. But in November 2025, 7 years after Matthew's death, Amanda Maison changed her plea. She stood in court and admitted it. Guilty. Second-degree murder. In exchange for her testimony against Sean Rao, she'll serve 35 to 50 years in prison. She'll be eligible for parole when she's in her 70s. But here's the twist that still haunts investigators. Amanda gave birth to that baby. The one she made room for. The one Matthew died for. That child is now 7 years old. And they have no idea that their big brother was killed to make space for them. Sean Michael Rao is still awaiting trial. He faces life in prison without parole if convicted. Matthew's father, who was not involved in his life at the time, has spoken publicly about his grief. He said he wishes he could have saved his son. But the question that haunts everyone who hears this story is simple. How could a mother do this? Matthew Maison was 3 years old. He loved cartoons. He loved playing. He deserved a chance to grow up. Instead, he was tortured, beaten, killed. All because his mother decided he was replaceable. And to this day, investigators say one image will never leave them. The tiny handprints on the closet door, where a little boy begged to be let out. Matthew Maison's story didn't have to end this way. If you see something, say something. A single call could save a life. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Amanda's 35 to 50-year sentence is justice? Or should she have gotten life without parole? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story broke your heart like it broke mine, hit that like button to honor Matthew's memory and help this story reach people who need to hear it. And if you want more deep dives into cases the world tried to forget, subscribe and turn on notifications because every week we bring justice to the voiceless. Share this video. Let's make sure Matthew Maison is never forgotten. Rest in peace, Matthew. We will keep saying your name.